Welcome to Home Equity Secrets. I'm Carl Christian, CEO of the Nice Agent Co. Join me as we reveal how to learn to earn through smart homeownership. Discover expert insights, practical advice, and inspiring stories on turning your home into a powerful financial asset. Whether you are a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, let's unlock your home's true potential together. Welcome to Home Equity Secrets. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Home Equity Secrets. My name is Carl Christian. Today is about to be crazy. Today, if you are a realtor, you cannot miss this episode, because not only we are about to put more money in your pocket, but you're about to find out how you can scale. This is the episode that I've been waiting for. Today, we do have Luca. Luca is the owner of Realfinity. And I'm going to tell you, this is a little different. So I'm going to let Luca actually introduce himself and say what Realfinity is about. Luca, how are you, man?
Sure. Great. Thank you, Carl. So excited to be on here. Well, like you've already introduced, my name is Luca. I'm the CEO and founder at Realfinity. We are a startup company. I spent the last decade or so of my time in the US mortgage space. Always ran more national platforms, meaning not just focused on one state. I know this is very focused on Florida, but funny enough, we are based in Miami. We are, Florida company, so I know exactly what's going on down here. And what makes us a bit unique is we are not your traditional mortgage company. Instead, we solely focus on building the first and the leading embedded lending platform in the US for real estate agents to embed mortgage as part of their services. So I hope to be able to explain you a bit more about that today. We think this is where the market is going, and I'm excited.
I like the idea. I like the idea of giving real estate agent another source of income. And I love the fact that we're going to toggle a little bit into this, because I love the fact that you said it's going to be easy enough. So you're not adding extra work to the workload. You're basically giving them another venue to make more money. So I really, really enjoyed this. But before we dive into it, I know you said you've been in the industry. How the name Realfinity? I love that name. So I'm going to ask you, where did that come from?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, again, the first part of it is probably quite logic. Real stands for real estate, right? And Finity stands for, the finance aspect of it, with the infinity component, which is essentially, hey, you are the real estate agent. Everything starts with the real. And we're an agent first company, which is why the real comes first, right? And from there, you're not stopping, right? You're continuing to add value to your consumer. And your podcast is all about, home equity and things of that nature. But it starts with, I'm not referring you to some mortgage broker or some mortgage lender. I'm actually going to be able to offer you everything you need to purchase that home. But it doesn't stop there. What happens post-closing? What happens after that family has been in the home for a couple of years, right? And is now thinking about what else can they do with the wealth that they've built. And that is the endless cycle, which is where the infinity component is coming from.
I like that. I really, really, really love this. So now, can you walk me through the process? Let's pretend that I say, hey, I would love to be part of this, Luca. What is the process? What can I expect from you?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, we're really focused on the full-time agent out there, right? So we as a company would like to have agents that are doing this as a full-time job, that are doing a certain amount of transactions. We typically like to do people that do more than 5 transactions in the last 12 months. And once they're coming on board, we are basically giving them a complete starter package, from not being mortgage licensed, not knowing so much about the mortgage besides what you already know, which is quite a bit if you're an active real estate agent, right? But we get you licensed, right? That's the first step. So the way that works is you typically sign up for a 20-hour online course. You're watching, the videos in our scenarios to get the basic education. After that, you get access to an app, which is, multiple choice questions preparing you for the exam. You're taking mock exams. You're making yourself familiar with a lot of the things you already know, but there's certain, legislative rulings and things of that nature that the typical real estate agent isn't in contact with in their everyday life. So we really add value for you there. And I always tell the agents, the worst thing that can happen, you get out of it and you've learned a bunch, right? You've learned a bunch that will help you be a better real estate agent, be a better real estate advisor to your client. Once you've gotten that, you get your license. and we give you access to our platform. And I think we'll talk more in detail there of what that actually is. But that's sort of the process of coming on board with us.
But let me ask you, as a homeowner, should I be scared that the agent not only is trying to do both real estate and mortgage broker? Should I be a little bit concerned that they may not be the best at both of them? How's your company supporting that agent to make sure that they are giving their best to their client when it comes to mortgages?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very common misconception, I'd say, right? And let me start breaking this up into two components, okay? I think one component is it possible to be both a good advisor on the real estate side as well as on the finance side? And I think the simple answer is yes, absolutely it is possible, especially if you have technology supporting you, right? The real estate agent of today needs to evolve. I always like to give the example of search, right? Prior to Zillow, Redfin, and the like, the real estate agent had a different value proposition when it came to search, okay? That has evolved. And so, technology is supporting people, making them more productive. So what may have not been possible to do in the past is absolutely possible today. So that's the component of, is it physically possible to be both a good advisor on the mortgage as well as on the real estate side? I think the answer is yes. We're supporting you with the technology. You'll never find yourself reviewing tax returns, doing things of that nature. Why? Because our platform is doing that for you. So that's one component. The second component is sort of the fiduciary component, right? Is there, a financial benefit for the end consumer? And most people don't understand this, but this is really what drove me to found the company. I spent my prior career, like I've mentioned, running traditional lenders, and I very much understand what builds the cost to originate a loan. If you and I were to agree, Carl, and the mortgage world is sometimes a bit difficult, but I try to simplify it. There's sort of a base price that every lender has. And if you're operating at scale, that base price is everywhere about the same, okay? We're all living off the same capital markets, and that base price is the same. It goes up and down as the Fed moves rates and things of that nature. Now, what comes into play is something called the cost to originate the mortgage. What does that mean? It means if I operate a branch office at the most expensive corner in Miami, and I have a bunch of assistants, and I need to spend marketing dollars to get referrals from my real estate agents, that's cost that is cost to originate loans, right? And all of that cost gets baked into my rates. And so by the time I originate a loan as that quote unquote traditional lender, my cost is much higher than it should be. So we are building an embedded lending platform. And you've asked me, is there a benefit for the consumer? This is the biggest benefit. If you are an agent on platform with us, you don't have an office because you're a real estate agent by main trade and you probably already have an office there, right?
Yes.
You are operating on our technology platform only, right? And you already have the relationship with the client. So Realfinity as a company is not spending dollars on getting referrals from real estate agents. All of that cost is reducing the cost to originate a loan for us, which means in turn, we're being able to offer consumers much better mortgage rates than traditional lenders. And this is the whole concept of embedded finance. I always like to give the example of airline tickets, right? Every time you buy an airline ticket at point of sale, they offer you that travel insurance. That's indeed the cheapest way to get a travel insurance, right? The same concept we apply here.
That makes perfect sense. I like the way you explained it. You made it so simple that I do believe every agent could be actually a loan officer. The reason why I'm saying it is because me, after 22 years in the business, I ended up giving the advice even if I don't want to, because they will only trust me. They will only ask me, like, what are the rates today, Carl? Carl, I only have $10,000 in my bank account. How much of a house I can buy? So whether you like it or not, I'm already giving them that financial advice based on what type of loan they should apply for, what type of interest rate they should expect, and all of that. So yes, I love the fact that the software give me the ability to be able to operate this business from anywhere. This is I don't know, man. It's like the world is changing. I've been in this business since 2003. So I can tell you, like, I've seen it all. And now you're just bringing a brand new one to me again. I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, and let me share one additional thing about the technology, if I may, really quickly. One of the things that you'll see happening is a lot of the traditional lenders are going to be starting to offer, hey, I can do a licensed real estate agents as well. But, I've been in those shoes and, spent really a lot of time on this. Agents, the current real estate mortgage stack of technology is highly fragmented. For a real estate agent, having a pricing engine, having a point of sale, having a loan origination system, having all of these different tools will not work. You need one platform that the agent can take on the go on their phone, start the loan application, get product pricing, get product eligibility, all on the spot. And this is what's really going to make the difference. And that's what we're focused on building. And that's what's going to make us different from any traditional lender that can say, hey, I can now, offer licensing for real estate agents as well. That's what's going to make the difference.
The one thing that you and I agreed on is you're not looking for part-timers. I'm the one broker that always tell everybody, I'm sorry, I don't understand how people do this part-time, because this is not your part-time job, because every single day you're learning something new. So every day you're not doing real estate, you're actually at a disadvantage. And I always tell my clients, like, be very careful. I'm okay with your aunt, your grandma being a realtor. I have no problem with that, but have to be careful that they can get it right most of the time. It's that one time they get it wrong, and then you lose 80,000, 50,000, 60,000. That is, to me, the most important thing. So I love the fact that you guys are targeting realtors that are full-timers, realtors that understand the business, realtors that are not going to just do this to earn an extra buck to go to Dubai. That's what I always tell on my podcast. Like, it's not about that. It's about really being able to get the client not only the best service, the best pricing, and the best experience. And if I'm not even going to say if, but based on what I saw on your company, based on what you're saying, it is going to deliver. Now, I did read somewhere that there's also Realfinity Mortgage. Is that competing with Realfinity, or what is the difference between the two?
Yeah, good question. No, it's absolutely not. So, obviously when you're building a new company, right, you are trying to set up the corporate structures in the best way. In our scenario, we've invested millions of dollars, we've raised capital to build the technology. And we actually have an engineering team, we're building the technology, and that's all being held in Realfinity, which is the holding company which holds the IP. You're always also trying to go ahead and protect that, right? And continues to build that. The Realfinity mortgage entity is simply the mortgage licensed subsidiary, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Realfinity Inc. That is where we are employing the dual licensed real estate agents. You need to fulfill certain net worth requirements in each state if you have lending licenses. So we have those net worth requirements in a separate entity. This is purely corporate structuring, and that's the licensed entity that we're operating under. And that's a very important aspect that you're mentioning that, but there's no competition there whatsoever. It's all serving the same purpose, simply corporate structuring.
Luca, for all of the realtors that are following, that are listening to us right now, if they need to reach out, how can they reach out to you?
Absolutely. I'm a super hands-on guy. You can reach me on LinkedIn. We have a direct website inquiry form. Reach out through there. My direct email address is ldahlhausen@realfinity.io. I'm sure it's going to be shared somewhere in the podcast description as well. Hey, any channel works at the end of the day for us.
That's what I tell everybody. It's not one, it's all of them.
Yes.
Now, Luca, we have that one question that we ask all of our guests. So I wanted to pick your brain on that one. Imagine that you're a couple, married, two toddlers at home. You're sitting on a house with $500,000 equity on it. What would be your advice to that couple?
Well, first of all, it's probably not that unrealistic of a scenario, right? Oh. Home equity is up across the nation to its highest levels ever, and it's continuing to rise, right? And a lot of the wealth is tied up in that real estate asset that people own. And unfortunately, I don't want to beat the dead horse, but the reality is the real homeowners are oftentimes left alone, and there's not that, continuous advice. There's bankers that have their own mission to thrive, right? Then there's real estate agents, but I envision the real estate advisor being the real estate agent, and I envision agents to be, following up with their clients, having these types of conversations, because there is no one way to go or one way to go. You need to have different conversations, get different inputs as that young family, and you need to understand, again, what are your financial goals? I've listened to some of your other podcasts, and you always say, hey, there's a relationship you have with money, right? What is that relationship? And, it's the same thing with that home, with that asset. What is that relationship that you have with that asset, right? What are the environmental aspects that are playing into role? And so I really, really hope that platforms like ours will be able to give and empower real estate agents to be able to actually serve their clients post-closing in exactly that scenario as well, and to help them understand what are the different options. So let me give you a hands-on advice, because again, I like to not circle around the question, but actually give you a straight up answer as well. But that's really where I'm trying to go. If I would be that family in Florida today, I would most likely try to go ahead and still purchase a second home while interest rates are on an elevated level. We know for a fact right now that interest rates are going to be falling over the next 3 Fed meetings, most likely continuously, right? That's a trend that we are going into here for sure. What does that mean? When that happens, a lot of the buyers on the sidelines, especially in Florida, due to increased insurance costs and increased interest rates that are sitting on the sidelines right now, they're going to come back into the market. What's that going to do? It's going to continue to hike prices, right? And so if I would be that family right now and I would have that equity, I would consider getting a higher rate right now to just cash out some of that money, invest it into another asset at a low price now. And then I would refinance my entire situation the moment rates continue to fall. But I'm purchasing at that currently lower price, and I'm hopefully able to take the appreciation that's going to come. So that's what I would do. But again, I'm a young professional. I'm in that sense a bit more, interested in taking risks at this point in my life. This might be a completely different conversation if I would be somebody
That's
in
true.
retirement age, right? And so again, it's about real estate advisors that are able to talk with their clients well after that home has been purchased and continue to do that. And one of the things that we actually do as part of the technology is we have a homeowner dashboard. So all of the agents can upload their past clients and they can basically stay in front of them with HELOC rates, with rates for cash out refinances, showing them what equity position that they have right now. And the clients have the ability with one short message to inquire and to have and start that conversation. And it's about being that conversation starter. So that's my answer.
If you have not subscribed yet, you should, because this is what the podcast is about. Luca, you have said so many gems here that I have to go back myself and re-listen to this. One thing that I heard that you said is cash out to buy another asset. If you're a homeowner, you're listening to us today. If you're a realtor, you're listening to us today. It's all about planning. We are, as your realtor, supposed to be a life planner. I'm sorry to tell you guys, if you're a realtor and you're listening to this, you're supposed to be able to help somebody plan their life. So this is what Luca is saying. He's bringing your platform that is actually going to help you tell that person, hey, the HELOC rate is that much. Hey, you can refinance and cash out for that much, but not to go to Dubai. Not that I don't have anything against Dubai, but you cannot cash out your house to go to Dubai. But you can cash out and buy a duplex, buy another asset. The reason why, it's because if you get free money, in order for you to, let me say, I wouldn't call it free money because, hey, you're going to pay an interest on it. But the reason I'm going to say free money is because if you buy an asset that's going to generate more money than what you're paying, hey, I'm sorry to tell you, this is one of the rare places on earth that you can do this, because not only we see COVID happened, and look at what happened to home prices. The interest rate are rising. Look at what happened to home prices. That's mean at the end of the day, you will never know. So you better be in the game if you want to win it. That is what I've heard from Luca. So yes, definitely. Luca, the other questions that I have is this. Now, you have an agent that is becoming a loan officer as well. He's a realtor. That agent needs to be able to market themselves to their client. What is your advice to them? How would they approach that client and say, hey, I can also help you with a loan? How would you approach that?
Man, you're asking great questions. These almost sound like they're scripted, but I can guarantee everybody on this podcast, they're not.
No, we're not. We just go along.
So I love it. They're great questions. So first and foremost, I want to clarify one thing, right? Yes, everybody is becoming, a loan officer by the way of obtaining an MLO license in the state. But, when I hear the word loan officer, I think of somebody that's asking real estate agents for referrals, right? Hey, man, building those relationships. I want to make one thing clear. Becoming a dual license agent and holding both a real estate license and a mortgage loan officer license doesn't mean that you're a traditional loan officer in the sense that you know them today. And I think that's a really important one. You're continuing to add value for your clients and serving your clients, right? And that should stand first and foremost. Your question is amazing. I mean, listen, what we do is we provide all our dual license agents with materials and with resources to be able to take a position of being a true advisor. And what does that mean? It means when you have a client that is currently not pre-approved, you should target them way earlier than you have in the past, right? In the past, you might have said, hey, I only want to talk with you when you actually have that pre-approval, because until then, let's be honest, I can help you to a certain degree, but we can't really put down offers. Like there's a certain limited value there. Target people earlier, help them to get pre-approved. You now have that ability, right? Because these dual license agents can collect an initial loan application and can get the clients pre-approved, right? So you can target them earlier. That's step number one. Step number two is either you have pre-approved this client already, or the client comes in a pre-approved fashion to you. They will want to see quotes, right? And take the perspective of being that client. I've told you at the beginning, there's a price advantage. You can offer better rates because it's embedded lending and we have a lower cost to originate a loan than traditional lenders. So I always tell the dual license agents, tell your clients to go out there and get a quote from Wells Fargo at your corner, from any of the other lenders that they might know, the lenders that you might have recommended in the past. But give me a shot to also give you a quote. What is a quote? Let's now talk loan estimates. Let's not talk work fee sheets. There's a lot of things being done out there in the industry that are ultimately, kind of misguiding the consumer. The government has put into place, loan estimates, which are black on white loan comparisons, apples to apples. Now the dual license agent has the ability to really understand them and guide the client through it. Compare rates. Tell your clients to compare rates and get the best rate, because you will be able to deliver that rate most likely, right? And from there, it's about choosing whoever the client wants to go with. It's absolutely their choice, and making it a smooth transaction. And obviously, if you're handling the whole process, it makes it easier, right? And you're relying on the processing team from Realfinity, so you'll be able to really focus on your main job, being the real estate agent, being the advisor on the transaction, and you have the right processing support to make sure that this transaction on the mortgage side also goes smoothly.
I admire your ethic. You see, at the last, Luca said, the client choose who they go with. So as an agent, if you decide to go with that route and being a dual agent, you want to be able to understand that your ethic rules. So which means if the client says, no, I want to go to Wells Fargo, I want to go to XYZ Mortgage, you can't tell them, no, you have to go with me. Because at the end of the day, you are a life planner. The person has to choose what is best for their family, even if you don't agree to it. And to me, the fact that Luca is telling you that, yes, the client has the final word. And I want everybody to understand this is the way you're supposed to do business, period. Luca, the last question that I would have for you, what type of loans do you guys offer? Do you have any loans that you don't touch, or you guys are wide open?
We're wide open. We do all types of loans. We do all of the conventional and non-conventional loans. What does that mean? It means some loans are obviously, private entities, right, including Fannie and Freddie, and then there's the government-backed loans, right? So we're doing VA loans for all the veterans out there. They oftentimes have amazing terms. USDA, FHA loans, we're doing all of that. And then the other side is obviously doing both QM and non-QM business, right? What does that mean? QM are the qualified mortgages. They're going to Fannie and Freddie. That's quote unquote your cookie cutter deals, right? And then you get the non-QM deals. And the non-QM deals, Carl, I think are where a lot of the lenders are, today, especially, being asked, hey, can you offer that or not, right? And especially in Florida, we're seeing a lot of foreign buyers, right? We're seeing a lot of rental properties, right? So all of these things we can support with these non-QM programs, which will be able to serve all types of buyers.
Now, I do have another question that just came up in my mind. Like I told you guys, this is not scripted, so it's just going to keep coming. Now, let's pretend that I'm not interested in doing loans in Florida. I'm a real estate broker in Florida, but I like your idea if I want to refer a client to somebody in Texas, but I would love to use Realfinity for me to do the loan for them. Can I do that?
Yes, you can get licensed with Realfinity in multiple states, right? What we do is we do like the people to have the real estate license in the state in which they are getting licensed as well. There's exceptions to every rule, right? So if you tell me, hey, I have my referral partner over there of many years, and I have a lot of clients that are relocating to Texas, and this is the type of service that I would really like to offer them, because at the point of time when they are thinking about buying there, they are still in Florida and they still have a relationship with me, and I'm helping them manage this. That is a very good explanation. That makes a lot of sense, right? What I don't want to do is I don't want to build a network of traditional loan officers that are, asking for referrals from other agents. That's what I've done in the past. I've seen that, and I'm really on a mission here. We're a mission-driven company, and I want to build the biggest embedded lending platform in the US for real estate agents on the mortgage side. And part of that is, staying true to your mission, right? So we want to hire licensed agents.
I agree.
Yeah.
But the reason I asked, and you did explain it to the exception, is someone like me. I'm a broker. I have the podcast. I have the Haitian podcast as well. And I have a bunch of clients in Texas. And I do work with 1 or 2 agents in Texas. One of them happened to be a family member. But I'm like, hey, maybe I can dive in, and instead of them going all over the place getting loans from places that I don't even know I can control, I was thinking that, hey, maybe it might make sense that I do touch Texas as well. So that's where the idea come from. So the reason why we have the podcast is because you can also go on the podcast, go on Instagram, YouTube, and write a comment and say, hey, these are your ideas. What do you think? And Luca will answer. I will answer. Luca, do you have any other last words for the followers?
The reality is, the only real advice that I have as to any agent is keep evolving. This is a game of being able to adapt, right? And everybody that is having their opinions about what happened with NAR and having their opinions about all that other stuff that's happening in this industry with AI and you name it, right? At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong. But I think you as an agent always should go back into you, and you should ask yourself, am I bringing the most value to my clients day in, day out, right? And you need to keep evolving. And believing that this game is not changing is simply incorrect, right? So give it a shot. Have a consultation, have a conversation, listen to podcasts like this. You're already doing the right thing, and make your own decision, right? And you have nothing to lose. So that's really what I have to say to everybody. But that's not just the real estate industry. It's also, CEOs like myself, right? CEOs like yourself, Carl. It's to keep evolving, and you have to keep being open-minded.
The sentence of the day, keep evolving. I love it. You're right. If we don't evolve, I have a say, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. There's no such thing as standing still. That doesn't exist. So you have to keep evolving, guys. And this podcast, Luca, we are here to help you get ideas and evolve in your business, in your life. Luca, I want to say thank you so much for being a guest in the podcast. I really, really loved it. I cannot wait to share all of this with my team. Thank you again. For everybody that followed us today, thank you again for watching Home Equity Secret. Thank you again for listening to Home Equity Secret. I'm Carl Christian, the CEO of the Nice Agent Company. Cannot wait until the next podcast. Thank you so much, Luca.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate it. Be well.
Thank you for tuning into Home Equity Secrets. I'm Carl Christian, and I hope you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. Remember, you can learn to earn how to set up your real estate portfolio to achieve financial freedom. I dedicate my life to helping homeowners like you unlock the potential of their homes in South Florida. Hit me up if you're in the area and let's chat. Please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. For more tips and updates, follow us on social media and visit our website. Thank you for listening.